Guys, I just recorded a 20-minute video on codependence, and the file corrupted or something immediately, and it's gone now. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I guess I'm remaking this. I want to apologize to you guys for my inactivity lately. This past week or two has been incredibly stressful and busy for me, and I'm hopping back on my activity, basically. But, lately, a topic that's been on my mind is codependence and its negative effects on both sides of the coin, like both sides of that perspective. And I'm gonna start with saying, when you're codependent on somebody, it's typically because you are missing something inside of yourself. You're missing a sense of validation. You might want a sense of love, you might want a sense of something you might want that you didn't get whenever you were younger, that you got the opposite of when you were younger, maybe from friends, maybe you were bullied, from family, from all sorts of sources. And it can be so heavy on yourself and upsetting whenever you don't get that love from a partner or a friend or family member, and you start to go out of your way. You might start giving people silent treatments. You might start withdrawing yourself. You might start like stepping back and being like, everybody is so awful to me, all these things, and like you throw pity parties and you let other people dictate your mood, your experience. You let other people dictate your life, your day, how you feel about yourself, and that's not fair to you. That's not fair to you. It's also not fair to the person you're doing that to. I have experienced both sides of codependence. Unfortunately, I've been the codependent, and I have been somebody who someone has been codependent on. And personally, I would base my world, my day, my feelings and emotions on a specific person. It wasn't everybody around me. It was always a very specific person. And if they gave me validation or something I wanted or like claimed I needed, it would make my day. If they treated me a way that made me upset, it would break my day. And I, through this, was letting this person dictate my life. I was letting them control my emotions myself, and that should be only something you control. And this went on for years for me. It was, I've only really ever been codependent on two specific people in my life. And when I was doing this, again, essentially, I was giving them myself. I was giving them my emotions. I was giving that away to somebody else. And this person didn't even know. And the thing is that, combined with that, as a little youngin', as a young person as a young teenager, I wouldn't communicate with that with them, because I wasn't about communication. I was about being passive aggressive, withdrawing myself, manipulative tendencies, and then I would expect this love from this person, and they wouldn't give it to me, and I would do different like tactics to try to have them give it to me, and it would only push them away further, and I would like grow to resent them and grow to resent these people. In reality, when that was incredibly unfair to this person. Incredibly unfair. And again, when we're codependent, it's because we lack something in ourselves, or we think we need something from another person to feel okay. And that's never the case. That's never logical. It's never right. And so let me flip this around. Whenever you're the person that somebody is codependent on, it can feel like you're in handcuffs, you're in prison. It can feel like you're walking on eggshells around this person. If you are, if you care about them a lot, or you hold them in a high regard, it can feel like you're imprisoned. Again, it can feel trapping. It can feel suffocating. And for me personally, whenever I experience somebody close to me being codependent with a double whammy, amazing combination of not communicating with me, that was a living hell. That was my personal living hell. And then I kind of realized, oh my goodness, this is what I've been doing to other people all my life. This is what I've been doing to, or not all my life, I guess, to specific people. But I want you to realize just how unfair it is whenever you expect others to give you something because you can't give it to yourself, and you run them through hell in the process. I want you to think about it from a logical standpoint. How do I affect this person with my dependency on them? And I want to let you know now that whenever you're looking for in this person validation that you're a cool, awesome person, validation that you're worthy of love, validation that you're lovable, or whatever it may be. Am I lagging? Anyway, whenever you're like doing that, you can give that to yourself. You don't need to get that from anybody else, because at the end of the day, every single person has their own completely subjective experience in the world, and it is okay not to be loved by specific people. It is okay not to get that validation from specific people. It is okay. You don't need that, because there are going to be people who appreciate you for what you are, just like there are people who won't appreciate you for who you are. And that's not a reason to resent somebody for. You guys just aren't compatible, and that's perfectly fine. And if you're in a relationship, if you're in a friendship, if a relationship with a family member, I would always first say to communicate to this person and tell them about maybe your needs and wants. Tell them about these things, and if they don't react well, if they're like, oh, we're incompatible in this way, or oh, this is just like, if they just don't react well, then I take that as a sign. You don't need to be friends with this person. You don't need to be in a relationship with this person, and that's completely okay. That's more than okay. You're just not compatible as people. There will be people who are 10 million times more compatible with you than this person who can't even respect your boundaries or respect this about you or love you in a way that you want to be loved. When in reality, that's okay. It's okay to like ask people to love you in a certain way, but you shouldn't be depending on their love or their validation. You should not be depending on that to feel okay about yourself. You need to give that to yourself. That's frankly the only option, and I have several videos about this on my page. One of my number one rules, philosophies, whatever it may be in life, is to be whole in yourself. You can't look for that in others. It's going to always be a band-aid solution. You're always going to be searching for that missing part. You're always going to be searching for that thing, and you're never gonna find that ever. You're gonna get it for 5, 10, 20 minutes, maybe a day, maybe a few months, but then the person breaks up with you, the friend cuts you off, you're left with nothing. You're left with nothing. Because at the end of the day, it's always gonna be temporary until you tell yourself, wait, actually, I don't need that validation from other people. I don't need that love from others. I don't need that. Of course, it's a wonderful thing to go and get love from others, to get validation from others. It's fun. It's part of being human. It's amazing. I'm not dissing that. I'm not saying don't look for that. I'm saying not to need it, not to seek it out to feel okay, because you're the only person who can give that to yourself. Only person in the whole world. Big shocker. And maybe your family doesn't approve of you. Who cares? They're different people than you. Don't talk to them ever again. Don't talk to them ever again. Never mind. Yeah, don't talk to them. Maybe your friend doesn't like you. Maybe your friend this, that, or your partner this, that. You don't have to be friends with them. You don't have to be partners with them. And you also shouldn't just go around making your dependency and need for this love and validation other people's issues too, because recently I experienced the other side of the coin here with the codependency coin. I had somebody in my life who was in a very close capacity to me, who I cared about deeply, who was important to me, and they were codependent on me. And again, I was in my own personal living hell in the situation because they wouldn't communicate their issues to me, even though I'd be like, communicate, please, just talk to me. I would have to beg. And the thing is that I couldn't exactly cut this person off because I can't explain, but it's a very complicated situation, but they were putting me through such a hell because they wanted a love and validation that they couldn't give to themselves. They couldn't give it to themselves. So I was constantly walking on eggshells, having to assume everything about them, having to do this and that and that and that and everything. And I was the one who had to accommodate for the entire relationship, and they were the ones seeing me as the bad guy the whole time. And that's something with codependent relationships. If we're codependent, we'll see the other person as the bad guy, when in reality we're either not communicating to them, or we're just not simply compatible, and it's not their responsibility to give that to you. It's not the other person's responsibility to give that to you. I want you to sit down with yourself and logically think about it. Is it fair to be not good to a person because they aren't loving you in a way that you want to be loved, or appreciating you in a way that you need, that you can't give to yourself, because it's not fair. It's not fair at all. And I'm losing my voice. I've been talking for half an hour now because of the video that got deleted, and I feel I did leave out details. I'm definitely going to make a part 2 on codependence because it's a very big topic, and it's it's definitely a lot. But I had realized after experiencing this other side of codependence, oh my goodness, I had been doing this to other people. I had lived with somebody I was codependent on for a good minute a while ago. And this person, I would expect, I always wanted their attention, I always wanted to talk, I always wanted this, that, and whatever from them. And I would, they wouldn't give it to me, and I would give silent treatments, and I would be curt, and I would be basically just not very fun. I wasn't being a good friend. I wasn't being a good person to this person. And I was mad at them for that. And I blamed them for that. When in reality, it was my own issues. I expected something from them that they didn't owe me. And I expected it because I needed their validation. I needed their company. And how unfair is that? How unfair is that? And I hadn't realized that until, I experienced the other side of it. And it's at the end of the day, we need to ask ourselves, are we being fair to the people around us? Are we being fair because of our childhoods, because of what we experienced growing up? Because whenever you're a kid, you don't know what's wrong and right. You don't realize that you don't need the approval of the people around you. You don't realize you don't actually need that, and that there are people who will approve of you and there are people who won't. And it's all subjective. There's always going to be somebody who dislikes you, who doesn't approve of you, and there's always going to be somebody who does. That's just the way of life. Every single person has their own subjective experience, and you can't be liked by everybody. You can't be liked by that specific person that you so desperately need validation from. If they don't like you, they don't like you, and you have to accept that. You don't have to be mad at them. You don't have to be angry at the world. You don't have to whatever. You just can accept that and be neutral and be like, that's okay. I don't have to be in this person's life, and that's perfectly fine. You don't need everybody's approval. You don't need anybody's anything. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. I might make a part 2 later because this is a pretty big topic, and yeah, I would like to talk on it more. But peace, guys.